Hello and welcome to the Crag Centre here in Edinburgh for today's matchup between your Caledonia Pride and the travelling Cardiff Met Archers. Today's early afternoon game is brought to you by Stream Scene. My name's Rory Anton and I am delighted to be joined by Rona Lightbody once again to bring you the next 40 minutes of basketball. Rona, after your game last night covering the BBL matchup between the Glasgow Rocks and the Manchester Giants, great job. What are you looking forward to, though, in today's matchup?
I'm looking forward to seeing a really good game of basketball today and hopefully seeing Pride take the win. I know Cardiff are travelling a bit lighter than they usually have, and the last time Pride came up against them, I think they've got about 4 juniors in their lineup today. And I was looking over the stats, and Shannon Phillips is 9 rebounds and 4 steals away from going top of those all-time categories. So that'll be interesting to see if she can stuff the stat sheet again today and get those accolades to her name, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, today's matchup brings Robin Lewis back to face the Pride. Robin, who leads the Pride in all-time assists. Robin learned her basketball at St Mirren under the watchful eye of Pride GM Barry Lang. And she's also played for league leaders Leicester Riders in the past and playing for her country. Rona, you've played with Robin before. What can we expect from her today?
I think one of the things you can always guarantee with Robin is she won't stop moving. She has an engine and fitness levels that, I don't know if I've seen them before. The way she can get about the court, and she's going to go out there, give 100%. And, I think she's really grown in that leadership role. And I think we'll see that from her today, especially, Cardiff, like we mentioned, having some of the younger players probably potentially playing more minutes than they have done in the past.
Yeah, definitely. Robin, one of the fastest and quickest guards in this league, and she'll run the floor for Cardiff today. And Rona, a 13-point deficit separated these two teams last time they met on March 6th. Marchisotti and Bajika led the Archers with 18 and 17 respectively, but Archers will have to go without them both in this one. Shan Phillips, of course, in that game had 16 points for the Pride. Rona, she's impressed you this season. What is it that she brings to this Pride team?
I think, when you say that, what does Shan bring to the team? I would flip on its head and go, what does she not bring to the team? I think she's really stepped up and she's really found her role in this team and has made a massive mark. You see regularly she's hitting highlight reels and she is, hitting top stats. When you have a scroll through the Dave Owen stuff, the stats that she's producing there are just wonderful. And I think, it really helps the rest of the team. She steps up when it's needed, and, some other players come with her with that as well. And I think she's just an integral part of the team. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to put the commentators' curse on her, but I'm hoping for big things again from her again today.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll be keeping a watchful eye on Shan as she looks to go to the top of the all-time leaders in rebounds and steals, as you mentioned. So if she was to get those 9 rebounds today, she would match Trisha Oakes' 522 rebounds on her career, which is just unbelievable. And of course, Shan, who averages a double-double, will definitely be looking to get that done today. Team news, though, as Rona mentioned, Cardiff have travelled with just 8 players, and notably without the height of Marchisotti, who currently averages 11.2 points and 7.6 rebounds for the visitors. Just one forward travelled with the visiting team in Levi Warren, so Pride will have the height advantage in this one. And how will that change the game plan for the Pride, Rona?
I think, it will suit them to a T to be able to get out, be able to run. I think Polly today, she's often tasked with those bigger inside players. So I think, we might see more from her today. She'll be able to get herself going the offensive end. You just never know what teams are going to come up with, how the journey is going to affect them. I think you've got to go out there and just give it your all. Sometimes I think teams potentially underestimate Pride a little bit, so they won't be looking to do that with Cardiff today. They'll come out and they'll have a game plan and look to stick to it.
Yeah, and of course, Cardiff just sitting a couple of places above Pride in the standings, and so this is a must-win for the Scottish team here. And both teams will take the floor and will be part of a minute's silence. Both teams observing the minute's silence, of course, for the Duke of Edinburgh, who passed away last week. But we do have news for you in the starters for the Pride. And so the Pride will line up with Rose Harvey, Shan Phillips, Maud Rongier, Ella Docherty, and Pollyanna Story. Any surprises there for you, Rona?
No, I think it kind of matches what we think. They've not had to go big on the height in the starting lineup, so that's potentially, why Rose has come back in. But I think we're in for a great game of basketball. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, interested to see how the point guard matchup goes today. We mentioned Robin Lewis. She has an engine. She doesn't stop going. But similarly, Maud Rongier keeps going. She's averaging 35.8 minutes and is a real leader on the floor for the Pride. But she never stops and has come up with big plays across the games recently. So I don't know about you, Rona, but I'm keen to see how that one matches up.
Most definitely. I think to Pride's benefit today, they are quite strong at that point and off-point guard position, that they'll be able to just rotate players round on Robin, spell themselves, so that the pressure on her will stay at, as close to 110% as they can keep it the entire game.
Yeah. And notably for the Cardiff Met Archers, they will start with Robin Lewis, Laura Shanahan, Kim Kang, Levi Warren, and Shannon Hatch. Shannon Hatch, who interestingly the Swiss forward played her university basketball in Canada. A great player for the Archers. Both teams will take the knee in support of the Black Lives Matter movement and stamping out racism in sport and all forms of life. And so we will look to get underway. The referees for today's fixture, Graham Shaw and Cammy McClay, ready to go. And so opening tip goes to the Pride. Maud Rongier guarded already by Robin Phillips, and on the perimeter with Pollyanna Story, finds a cutting Shan Phillips. Good step through, can't get the finish over the rim. Looks to get the tip on the rebound, but can't get it. And so Cardiff will come the other way. And driving to the basket now in Shanahan, and deflected. And so the ball will stay with Cardiff.
13 on the clock, no need to rush yet. We've got time to still get the ball in, set it up.
And ball comes in, Robin Lewis with it at the top. She receives the ball screen there and driving to the basket. Lewis, turn around, gets it to go. And we'll see full court pressure from Cardiff here early in the game. An early feed into Pollyanna Story in the post. Good post up, but can't get that one to go. Two good looks for the Pride in the opening minute, but just can't get them to fall. And we'll see your favourite, Pride pressure.
I think we'll see a lot of that today, them looking to get the ball inside, trying to use a bit of height advantage in there.
Yep, and shots blocked by Shan Phillips. underneath the basket and driving to the basket, and Kim Kang now. Shot clock winding down, and it's going to be a shot clock violation. Turnover by Cardiff. And again, pressure from Cardiff as Ella Docherty brings the ball down the floor for the Pride. Maud Rangier feeds Pollyanna Story in the high post again, trying to look for that low post flash. Rose Harvey thought she had Story on the dive, but couldn't get the pass off.
Maybe a little bit much.
And Cardiff come the other way. And Hatch just can't get that one to go. Maud Rangier side of the basket, and so that will be out of bounds.
Had a few good looks so far, but like you say, just not getting them to fall. Maybe just having to settle themselves in. We saw them have a great start the last time.
Yeah, Pride doing well to break the full court pressure from Cardiff, but just a bit rushed on the finish. And you wonder if Cardiff are just upsetting the rhythm of Pride here early with that pressure. Shanahan drives on Phillips, can't get that one to go. And so still 2-0 with just over 2 minutes played. Phillips can't get that one to go either.
One of those ones you feel like there's some cling film over the basket at the moment.
And there's an offensive blocking on Shannon Hatch. She didn't have her feet set for the screen. And so Sham Phillips inbounds for the Pride, finding Ella Docherty in the middle of the court, driving left. Can't get that one to go. It was a good look again, and Pollyanna Story with the putback couldn't get that one to fall.
Usually Ella, on that left hand, last game we watched her, she couldn't miss them. So
yeah, Ella's been great in this second half of the fixtures for the Pride, but Sham Phillips manages to get the rebound and put it in. And so Pride have their first basket in this one. Hatch with it, looking to set that screen again. And Robin Lewis pulls up, can't get it to go. And a foul called on the floor on Shannon Hatch. And Cardiff will have to manage the foul trouble here. They're light on their feet with only 3 subs.
Yeah, and with that pushing her on to 2, usually she's quite an important part of the team. Ella on the right.
And Ella, driving right. Not something we say too often, but she gets it to go. Hatch with the handoff to Robin Lewis. These two really running the offense early here for Cardiff. Kang couldn't get the turnaround to go, and Sham Phillips comes up with a board. Pushes it down the floor. Good kick to Maud Rangier, and she gets the corner 3 to go.
Feel like they're settling into rhythm now, don't you? That things are starting to drop, confidence will start to rise.
Yeah, getting good looks early in the offense as well. And they push out to a 5-point lead here early. Pollyanna Story just couldn't catch the rebound there. Put up from Hatch, and Ella Docherty pushes the floor now for the Pride. Driving left, can't get it to go, but Pollyanna Story is there to clean up. And an early timeout for Cardiff.
Yeah, I think Steph should be looking to settle her team. Won't she have a chat with them? We started lively, the Archers, getting the first points on the board, but from there it's sort of dried up a little bit. Maybe not always the best options they're taking. That sort of pivoting when you're in the key and then looking to take a fadeaway jump shot. It's a tough shot to take, especially if you're maybe a little bit undersized going up against some of the taller Pride players. I don't know about you, but I think Donnie will be quite happy, after that sort of couple opening minutes, which they seem to need a little bit to settle. But, shots are dropping now. They're finding the open pass. And, they're 7 points up, but they could easily be, 12, 13, 14 points up.
Yeah, definitely. And just to keep tabs on Sham Phillips pushing for that all-time leader in rebounds, already with 4 rebounds in the first quarter, so she's well on her way to that.
Yep. I wonder if she's aware that there's that. But she comes across as the sort of player that just goes in and works hard. It's not for the stats or the accolades. She's just there because she enjoys playing and wants to help her team do well.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if she didn't know. But I think when you average a double-double, it's probably easier to just play the game knowing that the rebounds will come your way. Good shot there from Cardiff, and they managed to get a basket out of that timeout from Steph, and Mondranger comes up with possession on the floor. Eva Kerr driving right. She gets that one to fall.
Right-hand side of the court's their friend at the moment for Pride.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of baskets falling. But Cardiff have an answer, and so Pride coming down the floor. Mondranger looking to slow the offense here. Pride being patient with it, trying to get a good look. Ranger in the corner, goes between the legs, driving left on Robin Lewis, but the help's there, and so Cardiff will come up with it. Shot from Shanahan's off, and again, Shan Phillips with another rebound. Good step through from Shan.
Lovely
she
step
finishes. Through. Shan already
so agile
out
on
to
her
a great
feet.
game. Yeah, her footwork in that low post, so controlled, and gets a good look once again. Robin Lewis off of the screen from Hatch, couldn't get the look she wanted. And so Kang
nice
drives
find
and
on the
kicks to
baseline.
Shanahan. Yeah.
Good vision.
Ella Docherty comes up with it. Driving left, but couldn't get that one to go in traffic.
Pride doing a good job, just keeping them out there.
Yeah. Good hand from Ella Docherty. He manages to pick off that pass into the low post, but couldn't get control of it. And so Robin Lewis comes up with a steal. But that shot from Kang off, and Pride managing to come up with it. Ella Docherty running the floor for the Pride. Looks to go early into the post, and that's picked off. Kang driving left. Didn't like the look on Ella Docherty, and dishes to Hatch for the high post jumper. Can't get it to go. Ranger with the early three. Pride come up with the rebound. Phillips working down low. Kicks out to Kerr and just stepped out of bounds on that one.
Few quick shots coming up and down the court there, Rory. Do you think that's intentional, trying to pick up the pace, or do you think players are just seeing that they're open and having a pop?
Yeah, I mean, there's not been a lot of subs from Pride. Obviously, Eva Kerr came into the game, but I wondered if it was just tiredness. Sometimes when you do get tired, you kind of start forcing things or maybe don't make the best decisions. And so I wonder if this timeout is just to get their breath back instead of using the subs, been playing well and have shot out to a 5-point lead. So a timeout to maybe get their breath back and try and slow things down.
Going back to what works, we've seen it's been effective for them both. I mean, both teams getting looks. Yeah. It's fallen for Pride a little bit more often at the moment than it is for Archers.
Yeah, definitely. Pride already 33% from the field, and so are Cardiff. So both teams getting good looks, but as you said, just not falling the right way for Cardiff. And Pride coming up with more possessions, but that's to be expected. We know Pride want to play up tempo, and so we've come up with 15 shots on Cardiff's 12 so far. Referee just checking something with the table.
imagine it's the clock or the shot clock that they're trying to clarify. Potentially.
I wonder.
Score sheet,
I wonder
somebody
if
not
it
down.
could. Yeah, a player not on the score sheet that's on the floor. I know we mentioned that we thought Marley Ball would play in this one, so I wonder if that's maybe the issue. Unclear what it
pressure
was.
Again.
And so Robin Lewis bringing the ball up the floor for the Archers. Finds Hatch underneath the basket. Good face-up jump shot for Hatch. And so that will bring the Pride's lead back down to 3.
Yeah, you can see nice rhythm there in their shot.
Yeah. Rona, I'm wondering, I see a number 22 out there for Cardiff. I think it's Isabel Bunyan. She's down as 23.
It's on the live stats, it's maybe just not.
Maybe just an issue with her number there.
Yeah. Sometimes that's the thing, isn't it? We've got all this technology.
Yeah. Certainly
more places to get something wrong.
Yeah. And there we go. Isabel Bunyan out in transition gets that one to go for the Archers. Isabel Bunyan, teammate of Ella Docherty in the GB under-16s. Eva Kerr with the pass inside to Shan Phillips. Yeah, a great post up from Shan. And so the Pride up by 5 with just less than 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. Ball swung to Shanahan. Shanahan driving. Can't get it to go. And it's going to be a foul. I believe a foul on Maud there. She was driving to the basket. And so Shanahan will shoot 2. I think it was
Shan. It looked like 5, yeah. It looked like he signalled for number 5.
Oh,
potentially Shan. You maybe couldn't see some, Rory.
Yeah.
That 5th finger. Just knocks down them both anyway. Game very back and forth at the moment. You know, you feel like nobody's quite pulling away. Pride were doing well and they sort of pushed out, but Cardiff, you know, they seem to have stemmed that and put themselves right back into the game.
Yeah, definitely. Shan Phillips driving up the floor in traffic, can't get it to go, and it's tipped, and Tweedy comes down with the rebound. Ball's loose, and Tyron Cummins trying to get a hunt for it, but it will be Cardiff ball. Inbounded to King as she's guarded by Cummins. Switch on the screen by Shan Phillips and Cummins there. Robin Lewis driving, can't get a look. She'll look to shoot
wide
3.
Open.
And,
lovely.
Yeah, gets it to go.
I feel that the season's progressed then in Cardiff. Robin, you know, she's becoming even more of an offensive threat. She's been putting up some great numbers, which isn't always easy to do, you know, when you're tasked with bringing the ball up the court as well.
Yeah, definitely in today's offense. Very much running through Robin Lewis. Obviously, Cardiff without their post presence, as we mentioned at the top of the programme, and so...
Oh, lovely dish underneath.
Maud goes behind the back, brings the ball up the floor and looks to settle it now. with the game clock winding down, she gets that jumper to go. And then just 4 seconds left. Pride will have the lead going into the second quarter. And so Caledonia Pride lead the Cardiff Met Archers 19-17 at the end of the first. We will give a quick thanks to our sponsors and be back with you with some stats from today's action. And so as you see there, Phillips already with 8 points in this one, and Shanahan leads the Cardiff Met Archers, but noticeably Phillips also, her total rebounds are already at 6, and so she's just 3 away from that all-time leader in rebounds. As we mentioned, Rona, it's something that comes quite naturally to Shan in her game.
No, most definitely, and I think it's interesting to note that she's already the top offensive rebounder all time at the moment for Pride, and that's by 34 rebounds, over Trisha Oak. So pretty epic stat there, especially on the offensive board.
Yeah, definitely. And so Shan comes up with it, dishes off to Maud Ranger in the open floor, and she'll get a left-handed floater to go.
Lovely finish.
And so a 4-point lead for the Pride early in the second quarter. Robin Lewis driving off the screen from Hatch once again. Good ball movement
That's
from
a really nice
the
pin and
Archers.
steal in there.
Yeah, Shannon Hatch with a great finish underneath the basket for the Archers. Elise Tweedy with it. Swings it to Pollyanna Story, who puts up the 3, but no good.
Yeah, Pride have gone with quite a tall lineup out of this start of the second quarter.
Yeah, and Phillips with it, looking for Elise Tweedy. Just couldn't gather it, and it's deflected off of Cardiff.
That's one of those passes that when you pull it off, it's great, but when it doesn't come off, you're like, oh, was it the right angle? She's in on the basket, but directly underneath it. So it's a hard one.
Yeah.
You can see Elise has maybe got slightly shorter player on her at the moment. She'll be looking to, I imagine, exploit that.
Yeah.
Keeping the ball nice and high and getting the shot off.
Yeah. Pride with the height advantage on Cardiff at the minute. Tall 5 from Pride. Kick to Maud Ranger in the corner, and she'll put up a corner 3 again, but Robin Lewis did enough to deter the shot, and so ball comes the other way. Shannon Hatch again with that baseline jumper.
That seems to be our bread and butter at the moment.
Good ball movement here from Pride, being patient. Yeah, and nice. There you go. As you said, the mismatch for Elise Tweedy comes up with 2 points for the Pride. Shanahan guarded by Story. Shanahan gets a good look off the screen and drives and gets that one to go. Shannon Phillips driving.
Yeah, I guess that's,
can't get it to go, gets her own rebound.
stat.
Ball swung to Lewis now, again looking for an opening off the ball screen. Shanahan driving on Story once again, step through. A lovely finish from Shanahan. She gets that one to go.
Yeah.
Back-to-back scores
Nice
for
patient
her.
play. With a
Story
taller lineup,
swings
that's
back.
something you have to sometimes compromise. That speed,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And
Nice take by
Shan
Shan.
Phillips gets a score. And so she will continue to lead Pride in the points category. Closely followed by Maud Ranger, who's on 7. Ball swung to the top. And Shanahan again driving. Shanahan having a great second quarter for
quite
Cardiff.
the purple patch. She's really come out with intent. You know, she's not somebody, she seems to be another player that seems to just be getting it done for Cardiff. When you look at the stats she's been putting up this season as well, she's coming out, she's scoring for them, rebounding, but not necessarily a name that's in lights all the time.
Yeah, definitely. In the averages for the season, she only averages 4.1 points, which is quite surprising. Her recent form in games has been phenomenal, as you say, for Cardiff, coming up with points and rebounds. And so Jenna Beattie will check into the game along with Sophie Loughran for the Pride. Loughran into Beattie. Shot clock winding down, and Maud Ranger will look to get a shot off here. Not a great look, but she managed to get something up, and it's going to be Cardiff ball as that missed.
A bit of structure there. There seems to be an awful lot of players, and I don't think they meant to set a double pick at the top. Maybe a bit of miscommunication.
Yeah, definitely. The spacing just looked a little bit off for Pride there. And so a foul, and King will go to the line to shoot 2. Two of 2 from the line for King, and so the Archers will take their first lead in this one. Jenna Beattie with it finds Ella Docherty. And a rescreen from Beattie. Maud Ranger in the corner looks to dribble baseline, kicked out to Loughran. Loughran with a good floater and gets that one to go. And back to a tied game.
Nice quick impact there from Sophie.
Yeah, and I think bench points for the Pride are going to be so important in this one to try and get this win over the line. As we mentioned, Cardiff running with just 8 players today, and Jenna Beattie blocked on that attempt by Izzy Bunyan. And so Robin Lewis commanding the floor now for the Archers. Double pick on the far side to get the ball in Shanahan's hands. Shot clock winds down though, and Cardiff will have to put up an attempt.
Both teams having quite long offences.
And a timeout on the floor for Cardiff as they look to talk things over. And so with 4.5 minutes of play in the first half, we have a tied game here, and probably as expected, Rona, a very close game, and we'll probably have a close one all the way through here.
Yes, and you're hoping, Pride, they've been on the receiving end, unfortunately, a couple of times of close games and not closing them out, but you're hoping with every game that happens, they're learning from it, and I'm sure they are, and they'll be building upon that in practice, and I'm sure they'll be putting themselves into similar practice situations during training during the week to see how to close out games, and that's what they'll be looking towards further down the stretch today.
Yeah, definitely, and as we mentioned, Cardiff Met Archers just 2 places ahead of Pride in the league standings, and 3 wins is what separates the 2 teams. And so a win in this one for the Pride would be a great help in their WBBL championship standings. And as you mentioned, Rona, been in a lot of close games recently. There could well have been a couple more added to Pride's win tally on the season. BT kicks to Rongier, puts up the 3 ball, can't get it to go, and Cardiff managed to secure the rebound. Robin Lewis with it now, guarded by Ella Docherty. Shanahan receives the ball screen, kicked out to Kang on the far side, dribble drive. Great jab step, manages to lose Ella Docherty in the paint, and get a good shot off for Cardiff. And again, Cardiff have the lead. Very back and forth game just now.
Yeah, very evenly matched.
Robin Lewis with the ball and over-under action to get into the offense here for Cardiff. And so ball swung to Lewis off the ball screen. Shot clock's at 7. Cardiff will have to look to get a shot here. Kang puts up the 3. Can't get it to go, but Robin Lewis comes up with a rebound and secure another possession for the Archers. Good drive from Kang on the baseline. Can't get it to go. Great ball movement to get the ball up the floor. Yeah. 4 out of 5 players for the Pride touching the ball there to get it up the floor and in as they get off to a 2-point lead. So Pride will look for another stop here. Can they push out in front? But no. Basket from Izzy Bunyan. And a horn set here for the Pride. Ella Docherty drives left, gets it to go.
Lovely. Potentially the most difficult left-hand finish today, and she's knocked it down.
Yeah. She definitely favours that left side and has had great success with it recently. Kang driving, couldn't find Shanahan, but a deflection from Maud Rongier, and so it'll be Cardiff ball.
You just feel Cardiff maybe need to go at the hoop. When they're going at the hoop, they're drawing fouls or they're getting the score, but you kind of see them sitting around that 3-point line quite a bit, and Pride happy to let them sit out there and just keeping the pressure on them, not giving them that shot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Interesting to see Pride now rotating through the bench. Pollyanna Stories and Shan Phillips sat for a period there, and back in the game now. Maud goes to the bench for a rest. It's going to be crucial to Pride getting the win over the line. If they can keep their starters fresh and rotate through, it could be a great benefit to them. Obviously, we've mentioned that Cardiff don't necessarily have that to their advantage with only 3 players on the bench.
Nice idea. Just didn't quite get there, the ball.
Robin Lewis driving, kicks to Hatch. Pollyanna Story does a great job of staying in front. Shan Phillips just jumps out on that shot and beat off the dribble from
Lovely little
Lewis.
interplay there by the 2 of them.
Yeah.
You didn't know who was going to shoot or when. They were just between the 2 of them the whole time.
Shan Phillips
She
diving
tosses
on the floor. Manages to get the jump ball tied up possession. And
looking for a little floor wipe.
Yeah. Great burst of energy from Shan Phillips to secure that, because she was definitely second to it. But comes up with a possession for the Pride, and they take full advantage of it. Yeah. With just under a minute to play, Archers have a 1-point lead here on Caledonia Pride. Shanahan.
Oh, nice dish inside.
Dribble dish. Great dish.
Quite a few nice passes. Yeah.
Finds Isabel Bunyan diving to the hoop, and she was fouled, and so it will be 2 shots to the Archers.
You know, like we just said, they're getting so much success when they go in. It's just kind of sometimes they go away from that, or they sit outside Cardiff.
Yeah.
I guess if maybe got some players playing out positions there, whatever, they're more used to being out at the 3-point line. It's maybe just making sure they do get themselves inside.
Yeah, as you mentioned, missing players today. They only have 2 forwards on the roster today. The rest of the team's made up with guards. And so, as you mentioned, that will probably feed into players wanting to live on the 3-point line. Ella Docherty puts up a 3. A great 3 from Ella. Ties up the game with... Lewis with it. Working on Rongier. Now gets the ball screen she was looking for and finds Kang in the corner. Couldn't get it to go, and Maud Rongier comes up with it with just 3 seconds left. Puts up a heave, but can't get it to go, and so that will be the end of the first half. And so Caledonia Pride and Cardiff Met Archers tied up at 40-40 here in the first half.
Hi, Rory.
Hi, Rona. Good to see you.
Ready for your weekly quiz?
Yeah, I'm ready to be put on the spot once again.
I really hope you have been doing that homework like you said you had, and it's going to pay off now. Or maybe not.
Yeah, I've been studying, studying hard.
Great. Rory's rules. People will be devastated to know today potentially is the last of these. We're running out of rules to quiz you on. I'll save the key change till the end. I know you're desperate to tell us why they changed the lines of the key. But anyway, sort of going with the offensive end of the calls today. So you kind of brought up last time, we've got the charge circle now on the floor. So what is an offensive charge? We talk about it, we see them called quite a bit. So what is that?
Yeah, so I mean, the charge call can be called for a number of things, but it's essentially the offensive player initiating contact or excessive contact while driving to the basket. And if the defensive player manages, I'm not going to say get their feet set, but manages to get legal defensive position in front of the player. If there's a drop of the shoulder or an extension of the elbow, then the offensive player will be called for a charge. And so results in a turnover in possession can be a big boost for your team.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think it's one of those ones that always usually gets benches up off their feet, doesn't it? Because you've worked your socks off to get there and draw that contact. And, whoever the opposing player was, they've now got an extra foul to their name. Your team ultimately gets an extra turn to go up and score points. So it's one of those great stops that, people love to see. Devastating when it happens to you, but awesome when you manage to do it to someone else. Great. Yeah. Okay. Next one, I would call it an offensive block, but what do we call it? We've talked about them quite a bit, and they're one of my least favourite calls. It's that offensive illegal screen. We've seen one today. I think it was on Hatch, sort of at the top of the game. So what is that? An offensive block or an offensive screen?
Yeah, essentially very similar to the charge call. It's to do with whether the offensive player has their feet set, and so Hatch, for example, was called for an illegal screen earlier in the game, and she was still moving her feet to get position to set the screen. You have to have your feet planted and be in a solid position. That also extends to, you can't like extend out your arms, or we do mainly look at the feet being set for the screen, but if you lean towards the player as they're trying to fight over the screen or under the screen, then that would also be called as well. And so sometimes it can also be frustrating as an offensive player, because it might not even be your fault. It might not be the screener that is at fault, because the guard has gone too early, which is even more frustrating when you're picking up another foul, as you mentioned, and it wasn't necessarily your fault. And so there's got to be a communication there, and the person on the ball has to see when that screen is set, and time it well. Because obviously if you wait too long, then the defense are going to be able to fight over it, or get under it, or even switch to kind of stop the ball screen being so effective.
No, definitely. I think we see it a lot. It's knees that come out, isn't it? Because it's so tempting when you're setting that pick to, like, if I just slide my knee out. Or the one we saw a lot in the men's game as well last night, you roll on it, don't you? So you call it a pick and roll, and that's what you're supposed to do. But we all know that you try and take that step across to the defensive player at the same time and try and bump them out the way, legally, of course, legally. But I think that's a great explanation. And something else we talk about a lot, and I can't tell if we're getting more prevalent or less, but I know referees are tightening up on them. But technical fouls, so we sort of see the refs, they'll give this sign, and sometimes we're unsure if it's on the coach, if it's on the bench. Although Donnie always likes to clarify afterwards if we've got it wrong. So what are the sort of, it's such an open-ended question, but what are sort of the main reasons we see that technical being called? There's obviously different outcomes depending on who it's on, but just the main reasons you would get called for a technical in basketball as opposed to it just being a foul.
Yeah, I think technical usually has to do with arguing with the referees. That's probably the most common one we see. And so I would say it's around controlling your emotions. If you let your emotions get the better of you, and you for example, you go up for a layup, you miss it, and you thought you were fouled, if you say, like, that's a foul, especially if it's in a tone, then you're more than likely to get called for hostile tone. Then you're more than likely to get called for the technical. I think my bugbear just now, I don't know about you, Rona, but I've been watching some of the NBA stuff, and like, I think the technical fouls personally are maybe a bit excessive in the NBA, and we're maybe losing a bit of the emotion of the game. I saw a game the other night where someone had a phenomenal dunk, and he celebrated a great dunk and then was teed up for it. And you can understand, because it was kind of in the opposing player's face, but it's also that kind of fine line between, well, does it then take emotion out of the game? And that's what we love about sport, is seeing people's emotion and seeing those phenomenal dunks or phenomenal plays. And so there is a fine line. And obviously, as one of my family members used to remind me, that the referees are God on the court, and so they have the final say, and it's just about biting your tongue at the right time sometimes.
No, most definitely, and I think that's what you say. It's like, it was still a phenomenal dunk, but did he need to have the reaction? But right. I know we're going to slightly run out of time, so I'm going to quickly move on, because we were wanting to have a quick chat and sort of put it out there onto the social medias as well about potential end of season awards. That we've got one more home game, and so sort of looking at MVP, defensive player, and, you know, best impact off the bench. I mean, we'll quickly run through them. I'll get some of your opinions, and, you know, anyone on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you know, hit us up, let us know what you think. We can bring that into the next game. These are obviously very unofficial. These are just our opinions. But with MVP, I thought, you know, we had to lead with Shan for obvious reasons. She's absolutely racked up the stats this year, quietly got on with it. So she would get my vote. Maud as well. You know, she's come in, had impact. It's a new league to her, new team to her, new city. But, you know, she's done great in that leadership role and pulling them out of some holes, or some great defensive stops down the line as well when the team have needed them. And I think, I know she's had a bit of injury and she's not played in as many games as she normally would, but Ella, you know, you can see she has such a talent and good skill level. And again, we've seen her today knock down back-to-back shots when the team needs them. So yeah, I mean, that'd be who's getting my 3 votes. I don't know about you, Rory.
Yeah, I think all 3 are fair points. I think for me, Ella in this kind of back half, obviously she did come back from a concussion protocol, and it does take a little bit longer to get back from those types of injuries, but she's just been phenomenal the last few weeks for Pride. You know, just looking at her stats, you know, for the season, averaging 9.6 points on 25 minutes, had 13 points last week. So I think Ella would probably be up there for me, but the 2 you've mentioned, you know, Maud and Shan have really solidified themselves in this league. Shan's always in kind of the WBBL Team of the Week or All-Star starting 5. She's there or thereabouts in that conversation, and so it's hard not to give it to them. So I think for me, I'd probably go with Shan, but I think all 3 deserve a mention because they've been phenomenal this season.
Yeah, and that's, I suppose, the good thing about basketball is one person can't do it all. You can't inbound the ball to yourself and bring it up the court yourself, you know. And I think that kind of shows in how the Pride team is ran, with people, you know, everyone having to contribute. Then, you know, we move on to potentially Defensive Player of the Year. Sort of similar names come up. I've mentioned already Maud, you know, with, you know, just some of her defensive work she's had to do. And we talk about the bigs in the league, but also, you know, there is a lot of very talented point guards in this league, and I just really enjoy watching them. I mean, I just don't have that skill set, but, you know, Maud and several of the other girls, you know, they're going up against them, but she's sticking to her task, she's getting on with it, and she always manages to still give a good account for herself, as well as defensively stopping the others. You know, Ella, we think she's got great defence, and I know also my Ella, she's not featured in some of the past few games. I think, you know, her on-ball defence, it just brings another level. You know, we talk about the Pride pressure, but my Ella's feet just seem to move 3 times faster than anybody else's, even on, you know, that Pride pressure. And she's just everywhere. You know, we played against her in the league, well, it'll be 2 seasons ago now because there was no season, and she just, her hands were everywhere, her feet were everywhere. She's just constantly hassling. And I think when you've got someone like that sort of taking away the vision of your guards, that just makes, that's a massive boost for your team when you've got someone like that in your team. So that would be sort of who would get my defensive nods or nominations. And
yeah, I totally agree. I think one that probably deserves a mention as well would be Polly. Obviously, she takes a lot of the big matchups in games and does a great job on them. There's a lot of great posts in this WBBL league, and we all know that. And so I think, you know, Polly does a great job of containing them. And we all know she likes to kind of get out on the perimeter on the offensive end, but on the defensive end, she very much has to take those tough matchups and does a great job of them. And so I think definitely worth giving her a mention there as well.
No, I would agree with that. It's rough in there, you know, playing in the post is rough. There's a lot of elbows, there's a lot of shirt pulling. It's not sometimes the most pleasant place to be. And just very quickly to wrap it up, you know, impact off the bench. The 2 I've sort of gone with, for me, Tyron is just, every time she's come on, she's had a major impact off the bench, just with her hustle and play. Not necessarily scoring lots of points or putting up big stats, but definitely, you know, she's pushing that. And Rose as well, she's had some games where she's shot the lights out, and sometimes in the starting 5, sometimes not, but, you know, she adjusts well to whatever her given role is on the day, which I think is very important.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, Rose has been consistently, you know, great for Pride coming off the bench. And as you mentioned, she does start. She started today, but she often does rotate out. And if if they're going slightly taller, then she will start on the bench. And so comes off the bench, still brings the energy. I think it's easy as a player that drops in and out of the starters, it would be easy for her to be disheartened by that, but she never is. She comes in, she hits big shots, and can be a real contributor on the floor for the Pride. And as you mentioned, Tyron Cummins obviously came back off of an injury, and so we've seen her recently over the past month, and just gives her all. You've seen it there, trying to dive on loose balls, gather possession back for her team, and again, another one who's is just a hustler. And so I think she definitely deserves a mention as well. But I think it's worth saying that if anyone has any other suggestions or wants to call us out, disagree, agree, then obviously let us know on social media, and we'd love to hear your opinions.
No, definitely. I think it's always great to hear what other people think as well. And I do think, a bit of a mention to Jenna. She's through no fault of her own, had to come in and out of the team as well, and she's got the captaincy. But behind the scenes, she seems to have, plugged through it. And I think all of that is what makes a team. Whether you're on the court scoring the 30 points, 20 boards, or whether you're behind the scenes keeping the team going, even when you're sort of restricted with your own gameplay. I think, that's a real show of character there, and something that's invaluable.
Yeah, definitely. And she obviously she was out of the team for a little while, as you mentioned, no fault of her own. And so even just seeing her around the team and the energy she brings as a captain, and I think that's something that's nice to see across the whole team. Jenna definitely does bring that energy. She's always the first one clapping and trying to get the girls up for the fight and for the game. But across the whole Pride team, a young team, energetic. When people get blocks, people get good looks, they're so hyped up, as it were, and just so together as a team. And so hopefully that will only grow towards the end of the season.
Yeah, so do call us out. I feel I took some pelters last week from someone who shall remain nameless, telling me where Kennedy Leonard's mum potentially came from, which wasn't true. So she is indeed from Dundee, Rory. So no, it's always good to hear other people's opinions and see what people have got to say.
Yeah, definitely. And across the WBBL, we have some great commentary teams. I know me and you have our favourites that we tune into, and also, some great platforms on social media. You mentioned Dave Owen's basketball earlier, but it's always good to see everyone interact across the leagues. And so we're always more than happy to receive feedback, even when we're wrong, like you were last week, Rona. I'll stop rubbing it in now.
Yes, Rory, I was wrong. I was just passing it on. I feel I need to represent these people who give me stuff info.
So we're back underway here at the Crag Centre in Edinburgh. Ella Docherty bring the ball up the floor, just knocked loose from Robin Lewis. And so Pride have the ball underneath the basket. Still a tied game, and expect to see a close one. This one will go right down to the wire, and hopefully Pride can get their third win of the season. Pollyanna Story cleaning up on the boards, manages to get that put back to go, and so the Pride will take the first lead of the half.
Nice find.
Yeah, that was a great job on that screen defense there from Pride, but even better from Robin Lewis managing to find Hatch open.
Mm-hmm.
Sham Phillips gets the screen from
Here's that
Pollyanna
pick
Story.
and roll.
Yeah, Sham Phillips again hustling to try and get that ball back, but it stays in Pride possession.
That pushes Shan on to her 9th rebound, so that's her tied now for all-time rebounds.
Yeah, I think we and this is probably not groundbreaking, so I'm not going to try and claim it is, but I think we might see the 10 and her take the lone stance at the top of that leaderboard. And so King driving the floor for the Pride, foul from Story.
Yeah, you could see she had the option to dish, but she went hard at the hoop, drew the foul. I think she'll be pretty satisfied with that.
Yeah, and you mentioned so effective for Cardiff when they have been driving to the basket in the first half, and so we'll probably expect to see more of that in the second half of basketball.
Yep. Not many fouls being called today. You know, it's good to see the girls are getting up and down the floor.
Yeah, Pride in particular not picking up many in this one. And so Shan Phillips with the ball now, almost travelled, but managed to get the pass off to Ella Docherty just in time.
I think it maybe shows there's that less of that physicality maybe inside today with the bigs and having to put extra pressure on the outside players.
Yeah, it's definitely been a fast-flowing game. Yeah. Shanahan with it, tries, and gets a good look, gets that one to finish.
Another two.
Yeah.
She's been really effective again today.
Shout out to Stu, who runs our camera, coming in with the stats for us. 5 fouls across both teams in this one. So as Rona was mentioning, a very low foul count in today's game.
Are you sure that information is correct, Rory?
I believe in Stu.
He's not selling you not selling you down the river.
No, I believe his stats will be well informed. Unlike others, we may say.
No idea what you're referencing.
Robin Lewis in the corner, good pump fake, gets the drive and finds Hatch, but she can't get that jump shot to go, and Pride go the other way with it. Shan Phillips guarded by Hatch, gets the go in traffic and looks to get the put back. Board. And will that be the magical 10 for Shan?
I think it will be.
We'll wait for live stats to confirm, but that will be no doubt Shan Phillips, the all-time leader in rebounds for the Pride. Rose Harvey with it on this near side, dishes into Shan Phillips.
Lovely dish inside.
She gets that look.
Really nice entry pass.
It's something we probably don't mention enough, but Rose Harvey's looks passing ability, is phenomenal, and she can also shoot it herself, which we definitely do mention.
Yeah. Robin just saw her mismatch there with Polly on her, and she thought, I'm going to take the step on you, and gets to the basket.
Polly inside with it, kicks to this near side. Modrangier in the corner, can't get the friendly roll. And there's going to be a foul called here, but no, it's going to be a jump ball, a correction from the near side referee. They will confirm, but it's going to be a jump ball.
Yep, jump ball. I think they're saying, they both just caught it. I think the clever thing, sometimes people come down with the ball, and what you do is if you can get the turn on your player, it can sometimes make one player look like they're fouling the other because they're then coming across your back. And I think that's maybe what the referee was going to call there. Sounded a sore one for both of them though when they hit the deck.
Yeah. And so the 10 has gone on the stat sheet for Shan Phillips in the rebound column. And so congratulations to her passing up on that milestone. And I'm sure she'll have more to add to it for the rest of the season.
Definitely. Now it's about her making her mark and pushing that stat for whoever comes along next to try and challenge it.
I mean, whoever is wanting to get that stat next, just so you know, it's currently sitting at 523 rebounds. So quite a big task.
Really nice play here from Cardiff at the moment. Nice bit of ball handling, turned the ball over, got the steal, brought it back, score. imagine that's why the timeout would have been called.
Yeah, Donnie McDonald animated there in that timeout, trying to get the girls back focused and cut down this Archers lead, which is currently sitting at 3 with just over 15 minutes to play. But it looks like we're set for another nail biter here.
Another sweaty palm situation in that fourth quarter. Yeah, you can, like you say, he definitely sounds animated. He definitely sounds like he's maybe trying to get a little bit more out of them. Maybe not happy with a couple of things that are going on at the moment.
Yeah, and the 5 on floor for the Pride, Shan Phillips, Maud Rangier, Ella Docherty, Elise Tweedy, and Tyron Cummins.
Just saw Polly there with the physio. Hopefully it's nothing.
Kicked out to Maud Rangier. She's wide open for that 3, just short on it.
Maud actually is currently 3rd all time for Pride in 3 points made. Now, considering she's only been here a season, that's a pretty epic stat for her to be carrying at the moment. It shows her consistency out there.
A great shooter, no doubt, and led her university to several titles, I believe. She might have a scoring title there as well, but I'm not going to say anything just in case I'm wrong.
That was a lovely turn and score by Elle at that other end, bringing it back to 1.
And so Archers with it underneath the basket. Shot clock's at 17. Kang with it. Dishes into Shanahan, who's open in the low post but can't get the jumper to go over Elise Tweedy. Ella driving left. Tough look, can't get it to go. And Cardiff cleaning up the boards. Pride just not as settled in their offense in this kind of 2-minute period.
Nope.
So no doubt they'll look to get a patient one next and try and settle the nerves here. Shan Phillips with it. Maud Rangier wide open. Can't get it to go, but Shan Phillips comes up with the board but tied up, and it'll be a jump ball Cardiff ball.
I really get a sense of, Cardiff, they've got their plan and they're sticking to it throughout the game. I feel sometimes, Pride maybe trying a couple of different things depending on the lineup that's on court, and maybe that's just what's taken them, that 30, 40 seconds through rotations on the subs to settle themselves back into who's on the floor and what they're going to run from there.
Yeah, definitely. And ball's in Robin Lewis's hands. She's guarded by Maud Rangier. Shot clock winding down. Quick ball screen to try and get a look. Hatch puts up the shot just before the buzzer and can't get it to go. Ball's with Shan Phillips now. Good look, but just couldn't get the soft finish.
Yeah, it just maybe seemed a little bit rushed. She had the look, but she was a little bit off balance, going away from the hoop. Well, nice look to try and get it through. That's the baseline.
Yep, that baseline jumper that's been bread and butter for Shannon Hatch, but she misses that one. It's ball screen for Robin Lewis once again. And on the ball reversal,
too much over her back.
Yeah.
Cardiff will be looking to get a score off this one and try and put a little bit more of a buffer between them.
Yeah, it has been back and forth. No team really getting out to a solid lead in this second half. Pride have had the biggest lead of the game with 7, but that was very, very early on in this one.
Yes, like we say, Cardiff weathered that storm. They've managed to push themselves out into a point lead now, and Pride in the penalties. They'll go to the free throw line now for the last 3 minutes.
That's the commentator's curse after us saying that the foul count was so low.
Yeah. Two in quick succession there for Pride.
Ella Doherty with it.
Appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, great kick out from Ella and finds Maud Rongier open, and she converts the three. And so Pride back in the lead here. Robin Lewis looks to answer quickly, can't get it to go. Jenna Beattie with the rebound on the far side. Great footwork from Jenna. She had a lot of pressure there from Cardiff. She gets the ball into Shan's hands, and a foul for the Met Archers.
Yeah, good not to panic and not just to pass it for the sake of passing it. You know, when you're under pressure like that, you know you've only got the 8 seconds to get it across. But their chance now to extend their lead.
Ella with a great look, but can't get it to go on the left side. Shan looks to step through, but heavily guarded there.
At least with the height advantage.
Yeah, mismatch on Bunyan gets the shot to go with the shot clock winding down, and so Pride will have a 3-point lead with just over 2 minutes to play in the third quarter. Ella Doherty guards her GB under-16 teammate Bunyan, looks to get the block, but Bunyan manages to finish. Rongier with it, looks to put up the three, can't get it to go. Elise Tweedy, a great hand to knock that one loose,
yep,
and Pride come up with possession. Tweedy just can't get that one to go, and Shan Phillips just a bit eager to try and get that.
Over the back.
Yeah.
Maud today, you know, as well, she's sitting on 10 rebounds. What is she, 5'6", 5'7"?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great work from her, you know. I do say a lot, rebounding to me, it does come down to hustle, you know, and that Maud's kind of shown that as well. And we've seen Robin pick up plenty of rebounds today as well. She's on 4. Don't necessarily have to be tall.
Yeah, Maud does a great job of when the box outs are clean underneath the basket, and you know it's an even
sneaking
contest for the board. She sneaks
yep.
in, yeah. Yeah, so again, a double for Maud and Shan Phillips. And so Archers with the 1-point lead, Pride with the ball in possession. Elise Tweedy finds Ella Doherty, sets the ball screen. Ella Doherty with the pro hop, gets it to go.
I think actually, unusually for Ella, she's having more success down the middle on the right than she is on her left.
Ball's on the far side.
Baseline open.
Yeah, Hatch can't get that one to go. She's been quiet in this third quarter. Ella just couldn't find Jenna Beattie on that far side wing, and so Cardiff will have the ball underneath the basket, and we'll see that Pride pressure as Cardiff look to get the ball in. Ball in now with Shanahan. Brings it up over the halfway line. Gives it up, but immediately gets it back and finds...
side.
Yeah.
Nice help, D.
Great looking side. Yeah, Levi Warren was open there for just a second, but the Pride defense collapsed on her and got a good look. Great dish from Maud underneath the basket. And a sea of bodies in that corner there to try and come up with possession.
More people just kept appearing. It was like, yeah. Reminiscent a bit of rugby there, where one's down, so we'll all just jump in.
Maud with it on this near side. Shot clock's at 12. Maud off the screen from Tweedy, tries to find the rolling Tweedy, but good defence from Cardiff.
Yeah, just getting their hands up and being in our face, you know.
Cardiff will hold for the last possession of the third, it looks like. Shanahan gets a good look, but couldn't get it to go. And so there'll be a sense of urgency here for Pride to try and get a shot up. Jenna Beattie with a good fake,
Nice fake.
puts it up.
Oh.
Can't get it to go, but it was a good look. And so at the end of the third quarter, Caledonia Pride lead Cardiff by 155-54. And just 10 minutes left in this one, and no doubt will come down to the wire once again.
Yeah, both teams just seem to be looking for a break, don't they? And none of them seem to be able to get a grasp on that. But, you know, it's all to play for in the last 10 minutes. It really is anybody's game at the moment.
Yeah, and as mentioned, you know, the bench points for both teams are sitting at 8 and 11. And the leaders on the floor for the Pride, Maud J and Sean Phillips. Also, Ella Docherty, once again, another game for her in double digits. And she has had quite a few of those in recent weeks. But for the Archers, it's Shanahan who jumps out to 18 points, and then accompanied by Hatch and Bunyan. Shanahan had a great spell towards the start of the third quarter and into the end of the second as well. Going into the half, she's been brilliant for Cardiff.
No, she has, and you know that's what teams need. And sometimes, you know, players just need that extra bit of court time or extra bit of responsibility, and they can really step up to it when given that opportunity. And that's what you've got to do, isn't it? You've got to go on and show the coach why you do deserve to be there. Take your minutes where you can get them, and then build upon that.
Yeah, Shanahan, who normally is averaging 19.4 minutes, she's obviously going to see a lot more minutes than that today, and especially with that performance she is having. Kang drives, dishes to Hatch. Hatch with the high post jumper can't get it to go, but Cardiff come up with the offensive rebound. And now Pride secure the possession.
That was another defensive board for Maud, and you know all her rebounds today have been on the defensive end. So that's what 11 defensive boards for her, which is really quite crucial, stopping another team getting another chance.
Shot clock winding down. Maud J swings to Jenna Beattie. Jenna Beattie looks to put it up, and it's going to be a shot clock violation. Big play from Cardiff there to come up with possession there. It's kind of strange, you know. Usually you see a big bench reaction off of the back of a great defensive stop, but with just 3 players sitting there, it didn't have quite the impact that it normally would.
No.
Kang puts the shot up, rebounded by Hatch, and she gets the follow-up to go. And so Sham Phillips coming up with the ball. Maud J looks to settle things here for the Pride as they look to get a look and get back out in front in this one. Angers drives, finds the rolling Elise Tweedy, who's fouled by Shanahan on the help defense. And so baseline outbounds Pride ball.
Sorry, Rory, I was going to say Maud and Elise have been linking up really well today. You know, Maud's finding her 9 out of 10 times on that roll, and Elise is doing well at setting nice solid picks for her to give her that space.
Yeah, Elise Tweedy, who 2 from 4 today, and will bump up her averages in the points department. And so Pride have a 1-point lead once again. Back and forth all through this game between Cardiff and Pride. Kang driving, needs to stop and pivot but can't get it to go. And so Shan Phillips driving the other end. Great dish into Tweedy. Can't get it to go though. Tweedy and Phillips
Right
looking to
place,
try and
right
come up
time.
the board. Yeah. Robin Lewis with it now.
Doing really
Finds
well in
Hatch.
position.
Ball swung. And it's going to be a foul called.
Yeah,
Is that
both teams know
Polly
they've got
moving
fouls
on
to give.
to? Yeah. Is that Polly moving on to 3?
It was on her foul, I'm pretty sure, so I would imagine
Yeah.
so.
Yep.
She currently
Getting
averages
confirmation
almost 4
from Drew
fouls
there.
a game.
Great
Tough
shot from Hatch once again on that baseline. Rose Harvey with it. Dishes to Elise Tweedy. Kicked out to Rongier. Rongier with the corner 3. Can't get it to go.
I mean, you're happy with Maud shooting that shot. You know, she's got a great percentage. So many options coming off these screens for Cardiff.
Yeah, you just wonder with that shot from Maud, they would have expected to come up with a board. Obviously, Pride do have a height advantage with a 5 on the floor right now, but couldn't get a second look that time. And so Ella Docherty checks back into the game for Elise Tweedy. Elise Tweedy been heavily involved in the Pride offense in the early fourth quarter.
Nice footwork, and she just has an innate ability, you know, to be the right place, right time, and the players are finding her.
Yeah, and being so patient with it, and you know, keeping control of the basketball, and has been a real bright spark in that Pride offense. But Bunyan comes up with the steal in the full court pressure, and the ball's tipped out of bounds. I didn't see who it came off, but I think it's going to be Pride basketball. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not just seeing Pride be turned over in their own half.
Yeah. Yeah. Shan Phillips driving left, wide open look. And so that'll cut the lead back down to 1. Pride will need to get a stop here and try and get out in front in this one with just over 6 minutes to play. Shanahan with it once again. Ball swung round. Apologies, it was Warren with it. And again, the baseline jumper from Hatch.
Yeah. You can see a lot of their offense revolves around that. It's obviously where she feels more comfortable and clearly has a lot of success from.
Yeah. Wonder how many of those shots she puts up in practice.
Yeah.
Ella driving left, gets it to
nice
go.
Nice drive by Ella.
Yeah. So controlled when she elevated there and gets the left-handed shot to go. Balls with Shanahan on the far side. Driving, right-handed finish on the left side goes. And inbounded to Ella Docherty. Again, driving looks to put up the left-handed shot. And so it will be Cardiff ball on the deflection. And so Cardiff with a chance to make this a 2-possession game with just over 5 minutes to play. Shanahan down into Warren in the corner and kicked out to Bunyan. Great ball movement to find Hatch in the baseline, yeah, but she can't get that one to go this time. Robin Lewis guarding Maud Rongier closely.
Yeah, next couple of scores, that's what's going to decide it.
Yeah. Maud with a big play there to get this game back to 1. Hatch swings to Robin Lewis.
having to use the shot clock here.
Yeah, driving, fouled by Doherty,
Magic to draw
and
the
so
foul.
she will go to the line. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, Pride are putting up that great defence. They're really forcing them. You can see, you know, that's maybe not what would be Robin's first choice. But she knows the shot clock's winding down. She managed to get herself to the basket, draw the foul. And until that miss, she had been 100%, you know, so good option for her from the free throw line. And that'll put her back up to 75.
Just having a quick look there at the shot chart for Shannon Hatch. She's put up 8 baseline jumpers, of which she's converted 5. So definitely her bread and butter
return,
today.
isn't it?
Yeah. Only
nice
2 shots as well above the free throw line for her in this one. And so a timeout called from the Archers after that score for Pride as they tie up the game at 65, just over 4 minutes to play. What do you think the keys will be to this one for the Pride in the next 4 minutes of play, Rona?
I think, you know, they need to see out their defence until the full 24 seconds. You know, they're managing to push them into sort of single digits on the clock, but maybe the help defence isn't just there, or they just switch off that last couple of seconds, and that's where Archers are managing to get something through. And then, you know, on the flip side, down on their offensive end, they seem a little bit more static again. You know, people like we'd expect, Maud and Ella, they're sort of coming up with some quick replies or some fadeaway tough shots. I think you'll need to just get a bit more rhythm back going in their offense. I think, you know, Cardiff are sticking to their game plan. They'll probably, at the same though, be looking just to be cutting through a little bit more, maybe just moving a little bit faster. I mean, it's the last 4 minutes of the game. We're going to have some tired legs out there, physically, and I suppose that may impact on them mentally. So yeah, I think Archers will be looking at just, you know, 4 minutes of effort, 4 minutes effort from Pride. Big couple of minutes coming up. Big plays coming down the court now, you know, if they can get the score or if Pride can get the stop.
Definitely, and Pride doing a great job on the defensive glass. You know, you mentioned Maud Rongier with 11, but only 2 second chance points for the Archers in this one. And so that makes all the difference here. Shanahan can't get that one to go. Polly did a great job of coming across.
Coming across, putting her off.
Yeah. Polly with it in the post looks to find a cutting Sham Phillips, but that's picked off by the Archers. Robin Lewis off the ball screen from Hatch once again. Warren with it. Swung to Shanahan. And there's that shot clock down into single digits once again.
Yep.
Can Pride just close it out? Great defensive stop from Pride. Can you convert on the other end and get out to a 2-point lead? Yeah. A great look and finish from Pollyanna Story off the pass from Ella Doherty.
That was great defense, like you said, they were doing it 5.
Yeah.
And saw it through.
Shot clock once again down into single digits. Pride just off the dish. Bunyan gets an open look but can't get it to go, and Pride come up with the rebound. Now Doherty goes behind the back, brings it up over the floor, and some pressure from Cardiff. Polly looking to try and find an open man, but fouled on the drive. And so sideline out of bounds to Pride.
Yeah, another crucial offence for them. You know, they need to get another one in, extend the lead, put Cardiff under more pressure. They'll need to speed up their game a wee bit.
Ella swings to Rongier, puts up 3, can't get it to go. And Cardiff come down with the rebound. Hatch Hatch with it on this near side, finds Robin Lewis open on the perimeter. She's now guarded by Modron. Kang drives, kicks to Bunyan. Shot clock again down at 2. But an O-board for Cardiff, and Shannon Phillips once again with that hustle to get down there and get the jump ball and make sure the possession stays with Caledonia.
Yeah, deny them that extra attempt at the basket.
Picked off from Izzy Bunyan, but good hustle from Pollyanna Story to try and get that ball back, but it's going to stay with Cardiff, and we'll see some Pride pressure with just under 2 minutes to play. Pride leading by 2.
Be looking to eat the time up off the clock or get the Cardiff to turn it over.
Yeah, King with it. Dishes to Robin Lewis.
A lovely pick and roll.
Hatch off the roll, but can't get it to go.
It.
Yeah, and so Pride will want to eat up some of this clock here with a 2-point lead.
Definitely. Robin does well to get across. Can't hold it.
Yeah. Looks like Cardiff might have jumped into a zone there off of the miss from Hatch. They're back in a man now, and Pollyanna Story with it on the far side. Kicks to Docherty. Shot clock winding down. Need to get a shot up here.
And she goes.
Shan Phillips comes up with the O-board. Picked off from Kim Kang, and she comes up over the halfway line, but foul from Ella Docherty. And a sideline out
Good
of
to foul
bounds.
before she's at the hoop.
Yeah, and also that puts Pride into the penalty. So if they do need to foul, in the kind of late of this game to stop the clock, it gives them kind of that free range to do so instead of trying to chase a couple of fouls to get into the penalty. So a good foul from Ella as Cardiff brought the ball over the half.
Yeah, it's all these little things that'll make a difference in this last minute. But scoring's definitely dried up the past 3 minutes or so. You can tell both teams are a bit tight.
Lewis drives, kicks to Bunyan. Bunyan with the high post shot, and an O-board again from Cardiff, but they can't get that one to go, and Modron comes up with the defensive board for the Pride. And so with under a minute to play in this one, Pride with a 2-point lead, they'll look to burn the clock as much as they can. Shan Phillips off of a great cut, and she makes the play. That's a huge play. Score. Yeah, Shan Phillips will go to the line with an opportunity to convert the 3-point play. And this would really make things difficult. With just 29 seconds to play, a 5-point lead would give Pride a cushion to get this one over the line. She misses though, but
nice
Pollyanna Story with the rebound and fouled immediately. Cardiff trying to stop the clock, and so Pride will have the ball again.
We need to just keep a hold of it. 2 second shot differential. Even if you get called for 24 seconds, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Almost better that, or if you get a shot away in the last sort of second or two, what you don't want to be doing is, even if you have a wide open lane, I don't know about you, Rory, but I would rather keep the possession than go for the shot.
Yeah, definitely. Because, if Cardiff pick off that drive, or if the lane's not as open as you think it is, you kick it, they come up with a steal, quick 2, just opens the game right back up again. So just all about...
Yeah, I imagine Cardiff are going to come out and try and foul as quickly as possible on Pride to stop them from running the clock down.
With that is Pride have actually only gone to the line once tonight, and it was Shan on that and one
Wow.
attempt. And so that is kind of a tough one. You know, you get fouled and you haven't been at the line all night, and you got to try and drain them to kind of close out the game. It's going to be a tricky one.
Did
Again,
you see the
plays
Euro
into
Cup
the
women
kind of
game this
the
week?
low
19-year-old.
foul count. No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah. Scored her 2 free throws to basically win it.
Sham Phillips with the inbounds gets it to Ella Docherty, back to Sham Phillips, and it's swung round to Maud Rangier. She puts up the 3, can't get it to go, and Cardiff come up with the rebound. Robin Lewis bringing the ball up the floor for Cardiff, and a foul on the
drive.
guard. Apologies there, we had some technical difficulties there, but Robin Lewis now at the line to try and cut this lead down to just 3 points.
That put Elle out of the game. This is when it's good, you know, you've played round
So
your...
Jenna Beattie into... And Robin makes the first of the 2 attempts.
Big 12 seconds up. Oh, big
this
board.
Is the second, and Cardiff come up with
Get
the
the
rebound.
score.
And a 1-point game. Rose Harvey fouled with 7 seconds to go, and so she will go to the line for the first time tonight to try and seal out this game.
Yeah, these are 2 big free throws incoming. You know, you wonder what just happened down at that free throw. Not quite step up their lane, or who knows? Maybe
Yeah,
they assumed it was
definitely
going
a
to go in.
frustrating one. Definitely a frustrating one not to come up with that rebound.
You know, Cardiff, if she misses the second, I'm sure they'll call her straight timeout and go for the 3 to tie it.
Unsure what's going
Graham
on
could just
here.
shout a little bit louder. We would have heard them. I think he said something about 4th foul, timeout, Pride.
And so Rose Harvey going to the line. Rose, as we mentioned, not gone to the line tonight, but a 57.1% free throw shooter on the season. And really, you need them both just to kind of settle nerves, but as long as she gets one and tries to, you know, force them to have to go for the 3 to win it or a 2 to tie it, yeah, it'll be all down to that defense in the end anyway. And so with just 8.3 seconds left. So I believe there was a timeout before the foul, and so therefore we'll go back to the inbounds for Pride. Is that what's going on?
Everything we just said means nothing.
Yeah.
So the foul was called and the table maybe just hadn't put it through.
Yeah, so timeout before the foul. Pride have opted to advance the ball, and so Rose Harvey will not go to the line. And Maud Rangier fouled on the inbounds. I'd imagine that was the pair of hands they were trying to get the ball into off of that timeout. And Rangier makes the first.
Make the second Cardiff timeout. 2 big free throws
You
there
must be
for
a bit
Maud. That's
ahead of
not an
me
easy
there,
job.
Rona. Yeah, that's 2 very clutch free throws to extend this out to 3, and so Cardiff will have an opportunity to try and tie this game up. And of course, with the advance of the ball, if you can get a quick 2 and foul again, that might be an option that Cardiff would look to get. But with just 7 seconds left, you're more than likely trying to get a good look for a 3 to tie the game.
I mean, Cardiff today, they've gone 2 from 9 from 3-point land. It's not really been, whereas they're 24 of 60 from 2 points. That kind of shows where they prefer to take the shots. Rob and Shannon both got 1 each. I imagine it'll be Shannon they'll get to the 3, but Robin's got the ball in her hand a lot. She might look for it. I mean, I would even look at Shanahan getting it. She's had some great shooting today, and this is when big players step up. I think Pride needs to make sure, keep their hands, and I think like Shan's just saying something there, keep your hands up at all times. Don't get dragged into anything. You don't want to foul, whether it's a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, I wonder if, Cardiff might look to go inside and try and get a foul on a shot, potential 3-point play, especially with, as you mentioned, that low percentage from 3 today. I wouldn't be surprised if they look to go inside and hope that someone fouls. That's going to be a long 2, and Maud Rongier comes up with a rebound, fouled by Shanahan. And Maud will have an opportunity to see this game out with 0.9 left on the clock. What do you think? Make the first, miss the second on purpose?
I've been involved in ones like that, and it's the most horrific pressure being told to miss a shot. I think she'll just go to score them both.
Yeah.
Give them the 5-point cushion. Cool as a cucumber. That's who you want on the line. Scored 2, stepping up.
Makes them both, and a 5-point cushion, as you mentioned, and that will be the ball game. Caledonia Pride will advance to 3 in 13 and will climb up the standings ever so slightly towards today's opponents, Cardiff Archers. Caledonia Pride win this one 73-68, and a great game, Rona, as you mentioned, back and forth throughout the whole game, but Coach Donnie McDonald and the Pride team will be delighted to get that one over the line.
No, most definitely, and I think they've been working hard, and they had that 7-point blast at the beginning. I'm sure they'll probably go back and look at why didn't they capitalise and build upon that, but still solid win today. At the moment they're sitting as a joint with Palatinates, so they'll be that'll push them a game in front of them, which is always positive, and it's good to get the game under their belt because you can see they're working hard and they're doing the right things. So this will give them the confidence going forward that when it gets tight down the line, they can step up and they can close out that game.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously Cardiff are in that 8 spot, playoff potential there, and Pride managing to get this win today is a big step in the right direction for them, and so as you mentioned, they'll go to 3 wins, which will take them above Durham at the foot of the table. But who was kind of your key players in today's game? Obviously Maud hit some really clutch free throws to see out the game, but was there anyone that really stood out in today's performance for you?
I really liked Elise in today's game. I know she's not necessarily racked up the stats, but I think whenever she came on, she was a problem. And, she was getting into the right positions, scored some good points, got involved in some rebounds and just getting herself in and amongst it. And, she's still pretty new to the team and pretty new to the league. So I thought when she came on, she did some solid work, and just Maud as well. I thought she had some really nice looks to come on, score the 4 free throws at the end. We all know that's no easy feat, regardless of what sport you play, having that, whether it's the penalty, whether it's converting or whatever in rugby. So no, I think those 2 for me, and I think they linked up really well as well today. So and over in the Welsh side, I would just say Shanahan, thought she came in, did a great job. I also thought their juniors contributed really well, and we say they travelled light, but they didn't play like a team who were travelling light. They played cohesive, they played well together, and obviously Steph over there has got them well coached.
Yeah, definitely, and think worth giving a mention again, Shan Phillips leading the all-time stats in rebounds for the Pride, but she's also now just 2 steals away from leading the Pride in that category as well. And so she would tie up with Hannah Robb, who obviously plays for the Riders now. But that would be another amazing achievement. But both Maud and Shan Phillips with double doubles in this one. Notably, another double-digit game from Ella Docherty as well, and just a great overall team performance from the Pride to get that one over the line. I think that's obvious. It's obviously been a difficulty for them in the last couple of weeks. We've seen a lot of close games that they've just not been able to close out. So I think that's going to be a massive confidence boost to this Pride team managing to get today's one over the line.
Yeah, and I'm sure Donny, Bart, John, they'll be happy with today's win and be able to go and enjoy the sun now, which doesn't happen very often in Scotland.
Definitely, and of course the Pride will go on a series of road games, and so they will travel to Manchester and Oaklands next weekend on a back-to-back weekend before coming back to the Crags Centre in Edinburgh for a game against Sevenoaks Suns. You know, Manchester obviously has been a close game in the past for the Pride. Do you think that's one that, off of today's performance, is something that Pride can now go and attack that game and try and look to get their 4th win of this season?
Yes, I think, their confidence is definitely growing, and Manchester, they run them close when they came up here. It will just be about how well the girls can travel, prep, how they rotate the bench between the Oakland game, the Manchester game, and again, like we've seen, WBBL teams, all of them, it depends who's able to play, who's injured, who's out, who's able to travel. So I think there's a lot of factors at play, but I definitely think Pride will go into that weekend thinking, there's no reason why we can't get 2 wins from 2. And I think that's what they've got to go in with, that mindset.
Yeah, and of course, we will see everyone back here on the 28th of April, a midweek game for that matchup against Sevenoaks Suns, and hopefully Pride will have had another couple of wins by then. But thank you again, Rona, for joining me today, and thank you to everyone who has tuned in at home to watch today's Pride basketball game and a win at that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we look forward to welcoming you back on the 28th of April.
Thanks, Rory.